If we're gonna survive it, we have to work together. Nada! Nada!
Huh. Well, I totally called it. Well, guys, the official trailer for the final season of RWBY, Red vs. Blue Restoration, released last week.
Yay!
Yay.
So I guess this season isn't cancelled after all, despite Rooster Teeth shutting down in a matter of weeks. Bernie Burns and Matt Holland introduced the video and announced instead of releasing the season in 5 to 10 minute long episodes like all previous seasons have before, Restoration will be released as a full-blown movie on Amazon Prime and other streaming services for purchase on May 7th. It's not surprising they would release Restoration as a movie, since the RT website is expected to be shut down around then. Plus, RT previously announced that Rooster Teeth first members would be able to watch Restoration in its entirety, while others would have had to watch it in short episodes. It's kinda strange it's releasing on Prime though, and not Max or Paramount Plus, since Warner Discovery previously put Rooster Teeth content on Max, and Paramount obviously has the Halo show. Though people could watch other RWBY seasons on Prime and Peacock, so I guess that makes sense why it's on Prime and other streaming services like Apple TV+. Anyway, let's get into analyzing the official trailer. The trailer opens with Griffin Simmons back at Red Base in Blood Gulch, reminiscing on their classic conversation, "Do you ever wonder why we're here?" The trailer then cuts to Epsilon, still in his Halo 5 form, addressing the Reds specifically for help, even though Caboose is in the room as well. The trailer then cuts to what appears to be a Q&A at the Retro Convention. Maybe this is RWBY's in-universe RTX? That'd be kinda cool. Explosions appear everywhere as the meta walks on stage towards whoever is speaking to the fleeing audience. Now, this scene poses a lot of questions. For one, what is this convention? It looks to be promoting some kind of movie, maybe Sarge 4, but the text on the poster doesn't look like it's advertising that at all. To be honest, this looks like a movie Jax from seasons 15 through 17 would produce.
Hard to believe this all really happened.
It's all true, every single word. For the most part, I took some dramatic license with the movie references, fudged a few plot points here and there. That's the gist of it, you know? The gist of it. More or less.
But the character on stage doesn't look like Jax at all. Whoever this character is, he or she is wearing the haloreach Mark 5B aerosol armor, and we've only seen one other character wear this armor in Red vs. Blue before, Dylan Andrews. Does this mean Andrews is making her triumphant return to RWBY after she was so needlessly cast aside in seasons 16 and 17 for Jax? I kinda hope so, because I enjoyed her sort of lead in season 15, and she's a very smart and interesting journalist to oppose the wacky and often idiotic nature of the Reds and Blues.
We're not firemen. We're journalists. We're doing an in-depth investigation about the Reds and Blues.
Why are you doing a story about my brother?
Brother? You're Kakina Griff?
But if this is Andrews, it poses more questions. Is Restoration the reboot we all once thought, or is it continuing the story left off from season 17 and 0? When the teaser trailer for Restoration first released last summer, we all thought it would be a reboot continuing the story from season 13 and wiping out all stories from season 15 onwards, but now with Andrews appearing, maybe Restoration isn't the reboot we once thought. Granted, Andrews did technically appear in seasons 12 and 13, writing the newspaper article about the Reds and Blues defeating Project Freelancer, so maybe this counts sort of. While Andrews was the only character to wear Reach air assault armor, she wasn't the only character to wear any kind of air assault armor before. Chorus's New Republic soldiers all wore Halo 4's and Halo 5's Mjolnir Gen 2 air assault helmet. This version of air assault did not return in Halo Infinite, so perhaps this character is someone from Chorus simply using the Reach version of their air assault helmet. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. It'd be nice to see Andrews or any of the other Chorus gang return, though based on Menace's appearance in the scene, they may not be here for long. Moving forward, we next see a scene of Reds and Caboose fighting the meta in what appears to be Khan's trophy room from the end of season 13. I say this because the floor is the white lines and circle where the meta's armor was once held before Tucker took it. There are also several trophies from the Reds, Blues, and Project Freelancers past encased throughout the room, such as North's bubble shield unit, what appears to be a monitor or some kind of Forerunner helmet next to it, and a bunch of classic Halo CE and Reach medpacks last seen in Revelations when the Reds and Blues were fighting Tex.
Tex, can you please? Oh! Alright, you know what? That's it. Come here.
Oh, thank God. Thought I was a goner.
Arch, where are you?
What happened? I feel defeated. Inexplicably rejuvenated.
You can also see what appears to be Charon's mug, or at least one similar to it behind the meta. So that's kinda neat. Now, when I first saw this scene, I didn't think anything of it, but after looking at it closer along with the trailer's other clips, I believe this meta is not the return of Agent Main, per se. Rather, the Sigma aspect of Epsilon took control of Tucker in the meta's armor after Epsilon died at the end of Season 13. We don't see Tucker at all in this trailer, but we do see the meta's armor change colors from its classic white and brown to Tucker's aqua and to the new black in later clips. This would be a cool, unique way to bring back the meta and still have the classic AIs involved. I also believe that the church we see is just a remnant message left behind, warning the other Reds and Blues that his quote-unquote death may result in Tucker becoming possessed by Sigma, and he has a plan for the others to save him. In the next few clips, we see what I believe to be Sigma-possessed Tucker flying away in a pelican and other remnants of Epsilon appearing in the meta's helmet. But the next clip further confuses me as to whether or not Restoration is a true reboot, because we see Agent Washington in a hospital with Doc and Dr. Gray, just like we saw him in Seasons 16 and 17, after he was shot in the throat.
Wash! Get down! Oh, I hate that.
So maybe this clip takes place after Season 17's ending, or perhaps Washington just made the trip to the hospital after the climactic battle in Season 13. Also, on a side note, this clip really made me wish RT went with using the Gen 3 Mark 7 armor for the Reds and Blues this season. You see, Halo Infinite uses a rather restrictive armor coding system, forcing players to only use a certain color-coded coatings to express themselves rather than choosing one primary and one secondary armor color, like before. Unfortunately, there's no black or gray and yellow coating for the Mark 5B armor core, which means Wash couldn't get his classic colors back. In this one, it's more of a black and brown color than a black and yellow. If they went with the Mark 7 armor, he would have been able to use his old colors because there's an esports coating with his exact colors. This is also why Dr. Gray isn't using her classic white and purple armor either, and is instead using the white and teal coating that I use for my Spartan. Anyway, we next see Caboose and Lopez in some sort of underground facility, displaying some sort of hologram. Maybe they're in the Reds' underground testing chamber at Valhalla?
So you can pierce anyone?
Theoretically, yes. Anyone in our memory banks.
What about a chair?
If you felt that was fitting. The holographic technology in this room allows us to project ourselves in any manner. It is surprisingly advanced.
How about a giraffe?
Look, let's just say we can look like many different things and just leave it at that. Okay?
Okay.
We next see the Reds and Caboose and Blood Gulch looking at a shadowy figure, presumably the Meta. And we next see the Meta picking up Caboose while holding an AI transportation unit, which Epsilon and other AI fragments once resided in.
Epsilon Church! Epsilon, seriously, stop it!
Maybe there are other AI fragments left over that haven't been mentioned before. Or maybe, if this is Sigma possessing Tucker, Sigma is taking the unit to stop the Reds and Blues from turning it into an AI extraction unit, which the meta used to capture the Tech's AI at the end of Revelations.
We don't need to hurt her, Will!
Perhaps Sigma is trying to stop any way the Reds can stop him. This is also where we see the meta's armor changing to Tucker's color, which just supports my theory of Tucker being possessed. We later see this meta using the energy sword, which pretty much confirms this is Tucker. Unless they decide to kill Tucker again like they did in Zero. Ugh. Or maybe this is secretly Locus, using the meta's armor with his own sword, though that's more unlikely. Because don't forget guys, Locust has an energy sword, and he got it at the end of Season 13, and he briefly uses it in Season 15.
Please, stop talking.
See, I told you guys, me and Locust are partners now.
Please, stop.
For the record, I hate this. I dig this.
I hate this.
We next see a brief montage of the meta fighting the Reds in Blood Gulch, with the meta confronting Sarge, breaking Simmons' new robot arm, and totally pummeling Griff. Then we see the grand return of Sigma, or at least Sigma in some form, probably not the original Sigma. Also, it sounds like he's maybe voiced again by Elijah Wood, who voiced him previously in Season 10. It would be nice if Elijah Wood returned for the final season to give Restoration more of a feeling of finality and epicness. After all, it's Frodo Baggins and the guy playing a conniving villain. What's not to like about him playing Sigma? And that's pretty much the trailer. There's a few other clips of the Reds and Blues talking, but there's not really much to analyze from that going forward. A bit brief, but packed with lots of potential and intrigue. From what I can tell so far, Restoration looks to be an incredible season, better than seasons 16, 17, and 0 at the very least. Still, I do have some concerns. For one, Joel Heyman will not return to play Caboose this season, sadly. Yes, I know he left or was let go from the company years ago for political disagreements, but they could have tried to work with him for the final season. Caboose's new voice doesn't sound like Joel's at all. Even Loco's voice from season 15 sounds more like Caboose than this guy.
Okay, there's one last story to tell.
Working! It's working! It's alive! Mwah! Everyone, I would like you to meet Freckles! Freckles! Say hello.
Oh well. I am a bit concerned about the lack of other red and blue characters in this trailer. Like, where's Donut? Where's Griff's sister Kakina? And where's Carolina? They don't appear in this trailer at all. Hopefully they're not dead, and I hope Griff's sister appears if this is a reboot from season 13. Donut will definitely appear since he's appeared in other Halo Infinite RWBY content before, but maybe he just has a lesser role. We'll just have to see. And what about the other side characters like Junior, Locust, Sheila, and Freckles? Obviously I don't expect every character to return for this season, but it would be nice if they made a brief cameo at the very least. It would be hard for Junior to appear since we still don't have playable elites, and Freckles would have to stay in Caboose's AR since the Mantis mech did not return in Infinite, which also sucks. It does seem like Sheila will return, however, based on a small clip released on Apple TV Plus, with the tank driving up to support Caboose. It would be awesome to see Locust again, as Halo Infinite has 2 new Locust armor sets. The Locust Rakashasha, I pronounced that very terribly, or the Yokai Yoroi armor 2, which is a sort of samurai demon armor. Even if he dies fighting the meta, it would be awesome to see him sword fighting in either of these armors. Like, these armors look just so cool. Locust has to return in them. Also, can I just say how odd it is to see the Reds and Blues not wearing uniform armor? By that I mean, the Reds previously all wore the same armors, give or take Lopez's different robotic arms and legs in seasons 11 through 13. In this season, the Reds aren't wearing all the same armor pieces besides their Mark 6 helmet. Sarge is wearing ODST shoulders, which is cool since he did serve with them for a bit, but I doubt they'll explain where he got his new armor from.
You used to jump out of ships? Give him some advice!
All right, Griff, you should never go in that unit. The pay is terrible. The officers are totally disorganized.
Likewise, Simmons is wearing the FJ shoulders, but Griff is wearing the Mark 5 shoulders. So I guess they did this to make Simmons look more scrawny and Griff more fat, but they never did this before in other seasons, so why do it now? Also, where did Simmons get his robot arm? Does the meta rip his arm off at the beginning of the season? Or are we supposed to believe that he had a robot arm this entire time when he became a cyborg back in season 1? Because if you guys don't remember, Simmons had his organs put into Griff after Griff was shot by the tank and Simmons became a cyborg. They mention that from time to time in the show. While these armor changes are interesting and at least cool looking, I just hope they get some sort of explanation in the show. Because a lot of times when Red vs. Blue does changes like this, they don't explain it, which is kind of frustrating. But that's the Red vs. Blue Restoration official trailer. So what'd you guys think of it? Are you more hyped or less hyped for the final season now? What characters do you hope will appear in the last hurrah for Red vs. Blue? Will you be purchasing it on Amazon Prime and other services? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.